Welcome to Lakers Talk with Gerald, episode number 45. This is the podcast. Thank you for joining me. I have a lot of things to get into, a lot of good topics today to talk about. It's been a little over a week or so since I've last given you a podcast, and that was number 44. You know what? I'm going to start off today with a few shout outs, just a couple ones. Elgin, hey, if you're listening, I know we last talked. We talked about you checking out my podcast, and here we go. I'm doing one. I haven't done one in a little bit, but thanks for bringing it up. Thanks for giving me a little bit of extra motivation to get back on here and do what I do and put out these podcasts and talk about these Lakers and talk about what's going on. But back to this podcast. So, guys, we have a lot of good things or a lot of topics really to go over, whether good or bad, in between. You let me know. I'm going to give my opinion on it, but I love the feedback that I get from anyone that is listening, whether it be in a message on the website, LakersTalkWithGerald.com. You can go there and see and look up all my podcasts, put a comment, go to any one of the Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean.com, or any of those apps. So, topics for the day, guys, is going to be, first of all, Lakers just hired a new coach, Frank Vogel. So what I'm going to do, I talked about that in the last podcast, but what I want to do is dive a little bit further. Find out who Frank Vogel is. Who is that guy? What's his past? What's his history? What was his records with the teams he coached? Was he ever an assistant coach? Those type of things. How long was he coaching for? We want to know those things. Did he ever take his teams to the playoffs? So those are either some of the topics and things we're going to dive into when it comes to Frank Vogel. Also, we're going to talk about if he has any assistant coaching team and who they are. Another topic we're going to talk about that has happened recently is a big thing also is the Lakers draft lottery, the NBA draft lottery that is, but we're going to talk about the Lakers position and what they got in the draft lottery. All right, guys? And then I'm kind of going to dive into that a little bit on the chances and the percentages and what everybody thought we were going to get and versus what we got. Okay? And then with that, we're going to also talk about what NBA draft prospects are available at the pick selection that we got. So we can kind of get into it and find out what guys we're going to have. Later down the line, I'm going to do even more research on these guys, and then we're going to get to know who we possibly can have. We can get someone good. All right? These are just a few things that we're going to get into. I may add a few other topics in there somewhere, but hey, let's just get into it. All right, so Frank Vogel, who is this guy? A lot of people, he wasn't even on the top 3 list when the Lakers first started this coaching journey and search. There was people we were talking about where the top 3 were Monty Williams, Tyronn Lue, and Jason Kidd. So what happened? What exactly happened? Why did we not land any one of those guys? Well, let's just see. First, we interviewed Monty Williams. To me, that was my first choice. That's who I wanted. He just seemed like a better coach, even though I don't know why. He seemed more respected to me. So for some reason, I kind of wanted him. So we interviewed him a couple of times, and he ended up taking a job with the Phoenix Suns. Then there was Tyronn Lue. And this is where the controversy comes up with the Lakers and the office and the owners and who we have is that, it was reported that talks were good. They liked Tyronn Lue. They were going to give him an offer and that it was a done deal. We all thought it was pretty much a done deal. Then all of a sudden something happened and we get a word that the deal is off. Tyronn Lue's backed off, and talks are over or in an impasse, they say, which kaput. So, and that really makes the Lakers office look even worse. Lakers staff look worse. The owners look worse because now everybody is just, it's not a radio station. It's not a podcast. It's not anyone that's not talking trash about the Lakers. Everybody is just shitting on the Lakers. Yes, I can say that. This is my podcast. Everyone was shitting on the Lakers. Man, it was bad. They were talking about Jeannie Buss, talking about Rob Pelinka, talking about Kurt Rambis, and then Linda Rambis, his wife. Apparently, she had moved them in for a close knit group, as all of them were going to be the decision makers on all the coaching hires and the interviews and all that kind of stuff. So that kind of stuff is what everybody was getting on him about, mainly, really, that no one in her staff has any front office or operations experience or coaching experience. None of these people have any expertise in it or a record that shows their expertise. Things like that. So that's those precise things are what everyone was getting on the Lakers about. And I mean, for the most part, was wondering a lot of questions myself. What the hell is going on? What's going on? Why do we keep, making these mistakes or not giving strong offers? In my opinion, if we decided we were going to go with Tyronn Lue, which I wasn't super high on him anyway, it was just like, well, we couldn't get Monty Williams, so what other choice do we got but go with Tyronn Lue? He was with LeBron. I don't really know how strong of a coach he really is. Yeah, they got the 3 straight finals, but LeBron would have probably took any coach with him to 3 straight finals. So I wasn't super sold on him anyway, but I was like, all right, cool. Tyronn Lue, at least we got a coach. We can at least get that out the way so we can continue on with what we got to do as the Lakers in front office. But, the word was that Rob Pelinka, they were just taking their time, not really giving him an offer. And not only that, the offer they gave him, or at least what they presented, was 3 years for $6 million per year, $18 million total. But the caveat with that is he had to also have Jason Kidd as his assistant coach as a part of that. So a few things that Tyronn Lue saw wrong with that, because for him, he's looking, hey, look, my resume, I have 3 straight NBA finals. I have NBA championship coaching experience. Not all coaches can say that, and I demand at least average to above average NBA salary, or a champion's coaching salary. So normal, deals that coaches get is usually a 5-year term. In this case, they offered him 3 years. So what I understand is he was upset about that. He wanted a 5-year term at a minimum. He wanted at least, and the money-wise, I believe as long as they would have gave him a 5-year at anywhere around probably $7 million. I think $6 million is kind of low for, coaches that have championships. So I think those 2 things would have did it for him, because the Lakers didn't want to back up, or Rob Pelinka didn't want to back down. Whoever it may be that did not want to back down, they didn't want to give him another offer, so he just pulled himself from the table. He said, you know what, I know my worth, I'm backing out. And the other thing about that too is, think about it, is he still owed somewhere around $7 to $10 million from the Cleveland Cavaliers, because he was owed I believe a 5-year contract for them. So as long as he doesn't play for another team, he's going to continue to get that check. So he's in no rush necessarily. Plus, he probably want to just go check out the field, and then he's probably thinking maybe if it's not this year, next year he could probably get a 5-year deal from someone. So he walked away. And part of it, I hope the front office, I hope Rob Pelinka and all the staff learn something from this. When you keep getting all these people, getting all these rejections, and things are happening in the wrong way, I hope you take note of it, change your practices, do differently, do better next time. That's all I can ask, all I can wish for. No one's that dumb that you will not learn from your mistakes. All right? If you do, then that means it's time to go. All right? So, yeah, I did a lot of talking about Tyronn Lue so far. We really got to get into Frank Vogel. So he came up. Frank Vogel was actually one of the people that was supposedly the Lakers wanted to also be one of Tyronn Lue's assistant coaches. So the Lakers ended up interviewing him. And word was that he interviewed very strongly, and not long after, the Lakers actually gave him a contract, or they signed a contract with each other. He ended up going with that 3-year deal, and also Jason Kidd was, just like the previous thing with Tyronn Lue, Jason Kidd had to be on his staff, and therefore Jason Kidd is on his assistant coaching staff, which, Frank Vogel got dogged about that, because I heard some people saying like, man, you must be a really desperate coach if you're going to take a 3-year deal and you're going to let them mandate that Jason Kidd is on your staff, when that is not a thing that happens with coaches. Usually they always come and pick their own staff because they want to make sure their assistant coaches are loyal to them. And if something goes wrong in a season, that they're loyal to him and not the front office. And so that's the thing about that he's getting dogged out now because they believe he's just been placed there as a setup to, be replaced by Jason Kidd after a little bit of tutelage and some assisting under Frank Vogel. I mean, that may be the case. I don't know. It is kind of odd. You think about it. Why would the Lakers owner and general manager put so much emphasis on having Jason Kidd as the assistant? If we like him so much, why not just hire him as the head coach? Jason Kidd has coaching experience with the Milwaukee Bucks and also the New Jersey Nets. So why not just hire him? Why just mandate that he be assistant coach under a coach that's probably never worked with him? Makes you think, right? Another thing that Stephen A. Smith said that made me think, and I'm like, you know what, Stephen A., good point. Good point, Stephen A. He said, he already believes that in a year and a half to 2 years, Jason Kidd will be the head coach. He said, why would Jason Kidd take this assistant coaching job when he's guaranteed somewhere from $7 to $10 million, or I believe it was $10 million was the number. He was guaranteed $10 million from, I believe it's either the Milwaukee Bucks that he was last with because he's still under contract with them. So the problem is when you take a job as assistant coach or coach, you have to forego that money that you're owed by the other team, and you just get the salary that you get with the new team. So he said, why on good earth would he take a assistant coaching job that, would get paid way less than $10 million? Frank Vogel is getting $5 million per year from what I heard, per, a 3-year contract. And so the assistant coach would get less than that or, no more. Why would he cut his salary in half? Without being guaranteed some kind of, wink, wink, in a couple years we got you type stuff. So that's what he brought up, and I said, you know what, that makes a damn good point. I mean, maybe there is, and he probably will eventually be that head coach unless he messes something up. And some other reasons why it's possible the reason why Jason Kidd didn't get hired straight up as a head coach is because he kind of has some record on him. He has had some records with the police. He's had a DUI. He's also had abuse charges against his wife, which he supposedly has admitted to. So supposedly it sounds like something that maybe they're just trying to get get him an assistant coaching job just so he can, do decent job and stay under the radar. And then once things blow over, then they can hire him as the new coach. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But Frank Vogel. All right, guys. All right, Frank Vogel, let's talk about him. He is 45 years old. He is born in June 1973. So that means he's going to turn 46 coming up. So his first year at the Lakers, he will be 46 years old. He actually is married. He has been married for 17 years. He has 2 children, 2 girls. I don't know their ages, but if you want to know, you do that research. But you can see I'm doing my research. I'm finding out about this guy. We're going to learn about him. We're going to learn who this next coach is. He also graduated from the University of Kentucky. Okay, all right. He's actually from New Jersey, born in, at least he went to high school in New Jersey at least. So that tells me that he's a Jersey kid coming here to L.A. So what's his resume? What has he done? All right, guys. So he has been a long time. He started out as an assistant coach. He first started with Boston back as assistant coach from 2001 to 2004. So he was assistant coach with them for 3 years. And then he went on to Philadelphia as assistant coach. And he did that for 1 year. And then he was he actually was off for a good 2-year gap. It looks like he didn't coach from 2005 to 2006. And then he took a assistant coaching job with the Pacers. So he was assistant coach for approximately 4 years. And at that 4-year point, approximately in 2010-2011 season, the Pacers hired him as the head coach. So at that point, He only coached them for 38 games, so it looks like he took over halfway through the season, and he coached them for 38 games in the regular season, and he actually took them to the playoffs that year, which they were eliminated in the first round. The very next year was 2011-12, and this season he coached them to 42 and 24. He only coached them 66 total games. I don't know why that is. Why it wasn't 82? Maybe he missed some games due to some other things. Not quite sure. It was the Indiana Pacers. They went to the playoffs and they made it to the second round where they were eliminated. The next year, they 12 and 13. They were 49 and 32, in which he coached them 81 games, and they made it all the way to the conference finals before losing. The next year, the record was 56 and 26. This year was his best coaching year as a coach, his best record, that is, out of 82 games, and they did make it to the conference finals once again. The next 2 years, let's see, 14-15, they did not make the playoffs that year. The record was 38 and 42. I think that was the year when Indiana probably lost some of their good players. I can't go into detail on that because I haven't studied up too much on Indiana, but they didn't make the playoffs that year. 15-16, they were 45 and 37. They did make the playoffs once again, and they were out in the first round. So you see he has history with teams. He has taken teams to the playoffs, or at least he took the Indiana Pacers to the playoffs when he did coach them. So he has playoff experience. He has coached a number of years. He has assistant coached a number of years. So he has experience. A lot of people believe he's kind of middle-of-the-road coach. But you know what? Look, we'll see what happens when the season starts. We'll have to wait to see how he coaches, how he talks to his players, how he interacts with his coaches, how he mentors the young people, how he, gives his minutes out. We'll find that out. All right, so that wasn't all. He also coached in Orlando. He coached with them from 2016 through 2018. He was then fired. He had losing records both years with Orlando Magic. He was 29 and 53 the first year with them, and 25 and 57 the second year. And they did not make the playoffs with both of those. And he hasn't coached up until now, being hired with the Lakers. So there we are. That is Frank Vogel in a nutshell. That his little bit of history about him, a little bit about his record, his assistant coach, and we're gonna see what we got. So, all right. Next, on to the next topic, guys, is the NBA draft. This is where we got some good positive excitement out of all the negativity we heard about the Lakers in the past month or two. This is a great thing that happened to us at the NBA lottery. We were scheduled or prospected to get the 11th pick in the NBA draft according to our record and according to the percentages that they give people, at the record that they land in. So we had a 90% chance of staying at number 11 or worse, or getting to 13 or 14 or something like that. So that means we had a less than a 10% chance of moving up. All right? So look at this. The Lakers not only moved up, but they moved up big time. We got the number 4 pick in the NBA draft, the 2019 NBA draft. That's huge. That is huge, everybody. Because, like I said, number 11, this is a thin draft that they were talking about. There wasn't a whole lot of game-changing players that's supposed to be, prospected to be future All-Stars. At least we don't see that yet. So for us to go from number 11 all the way to number 4, that is big time because for a few reasons. A, if we keep the pick, we can get probably a pretty good basketball player, maybe somebody that actually will give us a little bit of impact, if not a lot of impact this year, a rotation player. Number 2, that is a good high draft pick. Now we have another tool in our bag. We can use that as a trading piece to get another great player or something like that. That with a longer couple of players. That makes it a little better for the Lakers, a little higher, the bigger tool, Not just a tool from Walmart. We went and got a tool from Ace or Home Depot. You know what I mean? It's a little better. That's what it is. So the odds of us getting that number 4 was somewhere around 9% or less, or it could have been less than that. Or to move up was 9%. So we beat a lot of odds just to get up that far. I kind of was, my hopes started to get up that we might even get the number one pick and get, Zion Williamson, which that would have been a game changer. Man, can you imagine Zion playing with LeBron? LeBron throwing up, either one of them dribble down and you just throw it up in the air, and either LeBron or Zion is catching it and dunking on your head. Yes, on your head. Yeah, hey, that would have been great. But we didn't get that, so I'm going to pump my brakes and, calm down a little bit. We got number 4. So now we got to look. Let's take a look. What players can we get? Who's out there at number 4 that can impact our team? If we decide to keep that, which I actually, a big part of me would really like to see us keep that draft and get someone pretty good, and hopefully that can impact our team. All right. So next, let's look at the people. All right. So I was looking at, from ESPN, I looked at a draft prospect top 10 list, right? And it was saying who the top, who they thought were going to get picked from 1 through 10. So I'm going to read off the top 3, which we don't have, but these are the top 3. Supposedly are the best of the best. Everybody out after these 3 are under that list or just step below them. So Zion Williamson from Duke, power forward. He's around 6'7", 6'8", 285 pounds, just a beast. Everyone's saying, he's a physical specimen, and there's no one like him since a long time. So guys, think about this. First day in the NBA, as a rookie, he will be the second heaviest player in the NBA. That's out of everybody in the NBA. Centers, power forwards, and this guy is 18 years old. He's going to turn 19 sometime, I believe, in July. So, yeah, crazy. And he's got hops and all that stuff. So, yeah, enough about him. Number 2 is a point guard, Jay Morant, out of Murray State. He's supposed to be really good. And then next, number 3 was R.J. Barrett of Duke. He is a shooting guard. And so those are the top 3 guys. R.J. Barrett's supposed to be really good. He's projected to be an all-star one day, be really good, has athletic instincts, just all these great things. So, yeah, guys, this is definitely a top 3. These guys will be really good. These guys are not projected to drop off that top 3, but you never know. You never know. Some other team might actually really, really want to get one of the other guys. Like somebody might want to get Cam Reddish, who's projected lower. That's number 2 or 3, which is actually going to be Memphis and New York. That's 2 and 3. But number 4, all right, is a guy named Darius Garland from Vanderbilt. He's a point guard. He stands 6'3" at 173 pounds. This guy is supposedly can get his shot off whenever he wants it. Has a pretty good outside range and inside range from what I hear. So we will see if we need a point guard. I don't really know if we need a point guard. I think we should probably shoot for like a forward, power forward, somebody that's a stretch 6'7" to 6'9". That's what I would prefer. So number 5, they have DeAndre Hunter out of Virginia, who is a power forward at 6'8", 222 pounds. I believe he had a arm reach of 7'2". I don't know too much about him. I think he's supposed to be pretty good. We will see, but that's the kind of height that I'm talking about and range that I'm thinking about. Next after that is Jarrett. His name is Jarrett Culver out of Texas Tech, a shooting guard at 6'5", 190 pounds. And then after that is number 7. They have Cam Reddish to be projected out of Duke, small forward, 6'9", 205 pounds. Now, supposedly he did not live up to what his expectations were out of high school going to college. He was supposed to be this great three-point shooter and just a all-around versatile guy. He was a little underwhelming his year, but he's still projected to be a top 10 draft pick. At 6'9", think about this guy. He's 6'9". He shot somewhere around 33% from the three-point range, so not great, just about average, which is all right. But 6'9", probably long wingspan. He's not super athletic, but he's quick, good enough. They say he's a good defender or decent defender from what I hear. So we will see. Part of me kind of, he has a name, so to me, it's, if Lakers picked him, it kind of would be good just because it sounds like it's a good name. It sounds like we picked somebody great, and he has potential to be great. Who knows? We will see. All right, guys, so I'm looking forward to the NBA draft. Usually the draft is sometime in June. I will look up that date, and we will do another review and talk about who we actually picked. I'm excited, guys. Look, we got nothing. We got, it's only up from here. It can't get any worse than what it was in these last couple of months, so it's only up from here. So, thank you, everybody, for joining me. Thank you for being here with me with Lakers Talk with Gerald podcast, episode number 45. And that's going to do it. That's going to wrap it up. See you guys next time. I am out.